everyone to one more journal club. Today we have a guest, Dr. Raimundo Silva, that is here to talk about his paper about exploring neuroefficiency in spatial cognition, comparative study of 3D visual stimuli in virtual reality across STEM and non-STEM fields. Um, this, oops, this is a NIRx webinar, and as you know, we are always looking for the forefront, innovating in the fNIRS field. And this research to date very interesting for the learning sciences and how do you apply, how do you do fNIRS in applied sciences, and how does this improve learning and education field. So while doing all of this innovation, we also have a lot of fun, as you can see here in the pictures. So if you want to connect with us, you can find us in our website. What's this? X, LinkedIn, Facebook. Maybe we have new things coming up. And you can also check our YouTube channel where you have a lot of tips and interesting other webinars as well. And if you have any questions or would like to know more about fNIRS, you can talk to us in the consulting at NIRx.net. You can also subscribe to our newsletter where you will know a lot about our new releases, interesting releases and interesting features, new webinars, and where we are. Some considerations, you're all muted. Questions are welcomed at any time in the Zoom chat. The content will be available in our website. And again, for further questions, you can talk to us at consulting or support@NIRx.net. Okay, without further ado, our speaker today is Dr. Raimundo da Silva Jr. He holds a degree in biomedical science from UNESP and master's in neuroscience from the Faculty of Medicine at USP Ribeirão Preto, and a PhD in neuroscience and cognition from UFABC. His research focuses on human cognitive function, in particular spatial cognition, geometric problem solving, and cognitive effort. As a recipient of the Fulbright Doctoral Dissertation Award, he conducted part of his doctoral research at Drexel University in the US, which some of you might know. Currently, he's a postdoc researcher at IDOR, investigating a brain hyperscanning of teachers and students. His main research interests at the moment lie in applying neuroscience to education to enhance teaching and learning processes. Welcome, Raimundo. It's an honor to have you here. And
Thank you.
Yeah, we're looking forward to know more about your paper. So you can share your screen.
Oh, thank you. So now I'll share my presentation. Please let me know if you can see.
We can see.
Okay, so hello everyone. First of all, I would like to say thank you for this invitation and also this nice introduction. So my name is Raimundo. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at DOR Institute here in Brazil. And today I'll be presenting the findings from my doctoral research on neural efficiency and spatial cognition. So the idea was looking at how different 3D visual stimuli in virtual reality affects individuals from STEAM and non-STEAM backgrounds. So this paper was published in this year, 2025, in the journal Behavioral Brain Research. It was developed under the supervision of Dr. Cândida Barreto and Dr. João Sato, who were my advisors during my doctoral studies at Federal University of ABC in São Paulo, Brazil. So this publication was part of my thesis. This is my thesis, which brings together some publications in the field of neuroscience and education. At the end of the last year, it received the honorable mention in CAPES Thesis Award in Brazil. So I see this recognition as a nice indication that we are going in a very promising path, exploring how the potential of neuroscience research within educational context. So I am to develop tools that could be useful in educational settings. One of these tools was a mobile app designed to present the 3D object using low-cost virtual reality. It was based on Google Cardboard project. So the idea was to share this tool in my thesis as a potential resource for teachers interested in creating visual spatial learning activities for their students, but those who don't have the coding experience. So it could be easier to work with. During this process, I had the idea to use this design in my thesis by exploring the 3D and pseudo 3D representations with the same VR environment. So the goal was to include the pseudo 3D figures alongside the 3D, the three-dimensional models in the virtual space, and investigate whether these different types of stimuli would lead the different perceptual or cognitive responses. So there is a growing interest in research that supports evidence-based educational practice and guides the development of intervention aimed to strengthening visual spatial skills. The spatial cognition plays an important role in how we perceive and interact with the world, influencing tasks ranging from navigation to complex problem solving. And it is relevant to especially prominent in STEAM fields where strong spatial abilities are consistently associated with improved academic outcomes and professional success. Virtual reality offers an exciting avenue for spatial training due to its immersive nature. So VR holds a great potential for improving spatial training by immersing participants in dynamic virtual environments, making the learning experience more engaging. However, the complexity of creating full 3D content has led to interest in some alternatives, as the pseudo 3D that I was mentioning. So the key question is whether these cost-effective pseudo 3D stimuli are equally effective in VR for spatial tasks. So this is an example of pseudo 3D content. This is gaining attention as an alternative involving minimal data with computational techniques to create this 3D-like effect from two-dimensional sources. And it is important to access how humans perceive visual data and understand how 3D models compare to pseudo 3D visualizations in solving spatial problems in virtual reality. So our studies utilize the concept of neural efficiency, where less brain activity for higher performance means more efficient processing. We measure this using mental rotation task, which is a well-established test for spatial abilities, which is known to activate specific brain regions, particularly the prefrontal cortex area. So we know from some studies that individuals with background in STEAM tend to perform better in mental rotation tasks than people that don't have this background. So basically, this research aimed to answer two main questions. First, how do 3D and pseudo 3D stimuli impact cognitive load in VR spatial tasks? And second, are there differences in neural efficiency between STEAM and non-STEAM individual when performing these tasks? So our study involved 34 adults participants divided into STEAM and non-STEAM groups based on their professional background. We ensured that none of the participants had prior VR experience to control this variable. And I have here a representation of the screen that you can see in this cost-effective VR setup with a smartphone to deliver the stimuli. So we used this VR equipment, the Android smartphone application developed with the Unity effect. So the person rotating the head will feel that they are inside the virtual environment. So to measure the brain activity, the neural efficiency, we used the functional near infrared spectroscopy, the fNIRS, focusing on prefrontal cortex area as a region for higher cognitive functions like problem solving. The fNIRS data acquisition was performed by the NIRS 2 system. And the idea was to cover some frontal areas like the frontopolar area, ventrolateral prefrontal cortex, and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. So here you can see the representation.
Hi. Your internet is a little bit shaky, so maybe we
Oh,
try
okay.
to turn off your camera, see if that works
Ah,
better.
okay, okay. Just a minute. Okay. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So our modified mental rotation task involved participants mentally rotating these 3D or pseudo 3D figures presented in VR. So the experiment was structured in blocks, allowing us to compare brain activity and performance across both stimulus type and between the STEAM and non-STEAM groups. So it was 20 blocks, each lasting 30 seconds, and two models, and the total of the experiment was 10 minutes. So the person had 10 seconds to imagine the rotation and then 5 seconds to choose the right option. So I have a video to show as an example. So this is the virtual reality or the environment. You can see the pseudo 3D model, and then you have to imagine this rotating, and then you have to indicate which one is the same figure. Then you have the 3D model. You have to imagine this rotating for 10 seconds, and then you have 5 seconds to choose left or right. You have two buttons, and then you indicate which one is the right choice. And this red dot is the gaze of the participant during the experiment. We use the line and the shadows to create this illusion effect of 3D. And then you have the actual 3D models created in virtual reality. So for data analysis, we pre-process the fNIRS signal to extract the oxygenated hemoglobin levels as a key indicator of the brain activity. The fNIRS data pre-processed using the Satori software, and we also had the neural efficiency calculation. So the idea was combining these physiological measures with the participants' mental rotation task performance, and this allowed us to access the cognitive effort relative to the task achievement. So this approach I learned from Dr. Aya's group when I was a Fulbrighter student at Drexel. Oxygenated hemoglobin concentration transformed in Z-scores. And basically, the idea was that higher neural efficiency indicates higher performance with lower cognitive load. So this was the approach for the neural efficiency calculation. And here we can see the results. So our results show that STEAM individuals exhibit significantly greater neural efficiency in the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex when performing mental rotation tasks in VR. So this suggests that their brain are working more efficiently to achieve the same or better performance compared to non-STEAM individuals. We also notice that no significant difference in ventrolateral prefrontal cortex or frontopolar area activity between groups. And we know that the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is a relevant area for spatial task. So we know that this brain region plays a crucial role in spatial cognition network. We also noticed that despite the difference 3D and pseudo 3D presented in virtual reality, and this implies that for mental rotation task in an immersive virtual reality environment, both stimulus types are very similar. So our findings suggest that higher neural efficiency observed in STEAM individuals is consistent with the known importance of spatial abilities of these fields, and the lack of significant difference between 3D and pseudo 3D stimuli is particularly intriguing, and we attribute this to immersive nature of VR, which seems to bridge the gap between visual fidelity between these two stimulus types. Our study demonstrates the potential of the difficulty is appropriate and the learner are not overwhelmed, especially with cost-effective VR system. And the finding that pseudo 3D perform comparably to 3D in an immersive virtual reality setting has significant practical implications. So it seems that we can develop effective, affordable VR-based training programs for spatial skills using pseudo 3D content, making these valuable interventions more accessible for education and other fields. So while our study provides valuable insights, it is important to acknowledge some limitations. So our cost-effective VR had certain interactions constraints. So the person was just looking at the figures, there is no interaction. A larger sample size in future studies could reveal more subtitle effects. And we also aim to explore individual differences in spatial abilities and the long-term impact of VR training. So longitudinal studies would be a good option to explore this effect. So,
Okay, looks like you dropped now.
hello,
I
can
guess.
you hear me?
Hi. I thought you dropped.
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't hear the last slide. So the last one
Okay, let me
was
go
completely
back
dropped.
to the conclusion. Okay, so in conclusion, our research highlights the enriched neural efficiency of STEAM's individual visual spatial tasks with VR, particularly in the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. We also found that immersive nature of VR seems to blur the line between 3D and pseudo 3D images, make both viable for spatial training. And this provides a methodology for developing effective and accessible VR-based interventions to enhance spatial skills and identify learning profiles. So I'd like to say thank you for your attention. And now I'm happy to take some questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi. I hope you had a
Thank
nice
you.
time. If you receive any questions, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.